in Joseph and the Coat of Many Colors on Broadway. Joseph had many brothers. And every time I say that, I want to break out in that song from summer school or from summer Bible school. But he had many brothers. And his brothers first tried to kill him and then sold him into slavery. And he worked his way up out of slavery, then into various kinds of jobs, not any of them particularly pleasant, and finally came to work for one of the direct reports to the emperor, and was put in charge of putting away the bountiful harvest they had that particular year for use in the future when they might not have the same blessings. Now, what he was putting away wasn't going to provide exquisite banquets, but it was going to keep everybody fed through the lean times. And as the story goes, not only did he build the barns and put away the extra, but his brothers came in search of food, for they were hungry and the family had sent them to find food, only to find their lost brother as well. And Joseph didn't turn them away. Joseph shared. Joseph gave them some of the food that was put away and allowed them to take it back home. Sharing, planning ahead, caring for everyone, providing forgiveness. That is what this Old Testament story is teaching. And so, what has the writer of Luke shared? This might be one of the easier parables that was shared for us to understand. A similar story, two brothers sharing an inheritance. Jesus counsels them with this story, telling them that the man who has more than he needs builds barns to keep it all to himself. And that evening finds out with all of his treasures and blessings tucked safely away for his future comforts, that he will not enjoy them because this is the day that he will go to heaven or elsewhere. That is left to your imagination. But either way, he hasn't done his work here on earth. He has worried more about protecting his goods for his future comfort and enjoyment than he has about actually executing the Ten Commandments. Or just the one commandment, the greatest commandment, love your neighbor as you would love yourself. He's not thinking about his neighbor when he's hoarding all his goodies. He's not even thinking necessarily about his community or his family or anything else. He's just hoarding it away. Kind of like when we play Monopoly and we say, yay, you just landed on my property and you owe me $130 and that's your last money and I win. Then we're acting like the man who hoarded all his goodies away. You know, God's world's not about having the biggest collection of weapons and then sneaking up on the police and killing them. God's world is not about bullying people and making them feel bad about themselves. No, God's world is about what happened about 6 hours ago when an interfaith coalition of congregations went to Mass with the Catholic Church. Muslim, Christian traditions, Hindu, Buddhists, all went to church in France with the Catholics to stand in unity with them because of the ISIS attack on the church that killed one of their priests. Mass filled to the gills with an interfaith coalition saying, we stand with you in solidarity. That's what God's world is about. God's world shows us that we should give up our last $20 to the couple that's stuck at the gas station without money to go forward, even if it means we go home without our chips and dip. God's world is about cooking that Thanksgiving dinner and taking it down to the alleyway and feeding those who need Thanksgiving dinner and bringing the leftovers home, gnawing on the bone of a homeless person had gnawed on for their meal. No. Jesus taught us to love one another, to share with one another, to care for one another. He didn't teach us to bully or to hoard. He didn't teach us to keep the most toys and win. He didn't teach us to say, this is mine and I don't care, you can't have it. This man who kept all his wealth and built bigger barns to store it in, this man got the teaching terribly wrong. He had not made the proper investments in his soul to ensure his passage to life everlasting. It makes it interesting to live in the United States, where our form of government, our form of economy is capitalistic in nature. And our form of religion, for those of us who are Christian, is a more giving and sharing versus collecting. Capitalism is kind of a collecting kind of perspective, and our religion is more of a sharing kind of perspective, which always puts us in a difficult relationship in this country. But then, light and dark are in a difficult relationship. Good thoughts and bad thoughts are in a difficult relationship. You know, it's not easy to do what Jesus asks of us. It's not easy, but maybe that's the point. Maybe we need something to be difficult for us to learn it. Maybe this explains why churches have lost record numbers of attendees in America and Europe. It's difficult to listen to one teaching on Sunday and another teaching Monday through Friday. Money and the collection of wealth, Monday through Friday. Sharing and giving and caring on Sunday. You know, we're not called to collect everything unto ourselves. We're called to share. We're called to care. We're called to step up and assist those who are in need of help. Because that's what the writer of Luke is telling us. That's what he is saying that Jesus was teaching in this parable. To ensure your safe passage to life everlasting, you are not called to create a storehouse of your valuables. You are called to care about others. You are called to be inclusive. You are called to bear witness. You are called to met out social justice. You are called to stop oppression. You can sell goods and property to maximize your profits, but it's what you do with those profits, what you accomplish, that's important. It's hard to do what Jesus asks us to do. You can't sit back and be a victim. You can't sit back and say, I can't do it because. You can't sit back and say, I didn't want to look at that, but I had to because it came up on my computer. I didn't want to drink that, but I had to because it was in the cupboard. I didn't want to be mean to her, but you know, she made me do it. You can't be a victim and follow Jesus. You have to be willing to stand up, take responsibility, and take charge of your life. And then reach out to others. It's not easy. It's not easy to take charge of your life. Sometimes I don't feel very confident, even when I am reaching out to help others. But it is in the doing that we learn that it makes God happy if we share. It makes God happy if we talk to others and help them with their issues and their needs, even when we're not comfortable doing it. It makes God happy if we stop short when we are angry and apologize and bring down the anger for reconciling, listening, and conversation. It makes God happy when we follow the teachings of His Son, Jesus Christ. This, my friends, is all you need to know from this parable. Love your neighbor as you would love yourself. This is what the writer of Luke is reminding us. Loving others is the first step on your journey. It is the first step on your journey of a lifetime. You know, we don't get a detailed map. We get a pretty simple one. We don't know all the twists and turns. We don't know where all the Coney Islands are. We don't know where all of the playgrounds are. But we have a journey that we have set out on. And if we will follow Jesus' teachings and care for those around us and reach out in love and understanding, you will arrive at your destination, greatly loved and cared about. Amen.